most recent video came out on Kenny Wallace's YouTube page. This video was sent to me by 10, 15 people. Chaz, are you going to say something about this? Now I'm going to play you a short segment here of Kenny Wallace talking about a situation. I also have a comment below that I will be reading to you. I feel like Kenny Wallace is deserving of a written out reply from me, and hopefully a lot of people can not only read that comment but also see this video, because I think it's very important, and maybe it may be something that Kenny Wallace is doing unintentionally, but hopefully can recognize that it is a little bit more important than you think.
Jay, Stroker Race Kid, said, Kenny, you need to quit putting these NASCAR drivers on a pedestal. Jay, here's my response, buddy. When players make it in Major League Baseball, or they make it in the NFL, or they make it in the NHL, these are the best. These are the players that have been tried and tested, and they made it, and they're the best. So that's the way it is with NASCAR. These drivers, they are the best. It's sad to say, in this new world we live in, where everybody wants everybody the same. Everybody should make all...
Now, see, he's already made a mistake by saying that. I'm going to get to that. But at the same time, to align that ideology that he just explained with what he's about to explain is incorrect as well. Listen to what he tries to relate this to. He tries to relate it to some kind of participation trophy style of ideology, which is so incorrect. It's so... Ooh, I'm going to get riled up.
Make all the same money, everybody's equal. Listen, we know that's just not the way life is. It just doesn't work that way. So somehow, some way in the world, the best get funneled through a funnel, and, you know, sometimes some drivers, some athletes, you know, they get picked up later.
And all that. I just, whew, that type of rhetoric just doesn't sit well with me, and then to try to align it with the participation trophy crybaby scenario, liberalized thinking is just so wrong. And I put a comment in here. So I put, with all due respect, Kenny, your reference to NFL and MLB in comparison to racing is completely inaccurate. In those sports, the guy who performs the best moves up. In racing, we see it all the time, where the most talented players or biggest performers do not necessarily move up due to monetary funding. We see this all the time with one kid and another kid. Daddy has just a little bit of money to put him on the track. Other kid has daddy's millions to put him on the track. The kid who's barely on the racetrack will kick everyone's ass, but since he don't have no money, he don't get picked up, he don't move up, he doesn't go anywhere. The kid with all the billions, he does. So that's where we're coming from as far as biggest performers, and we're just talking about people in general. In all these different classes, that's how this works. It's all about monetary funding. You also see people move up due to nepotism or monarchy. So nepotism is because I'm a buddy, I'm a friend. Monarchy is last names, you know. So that don't really need much explanation for those who know the racing world at all. In racing, you can literally buy yourself onto the starting lineup. You can also outprice the more talented players and go to an organization like NASCAR, where the lesser funded but more talented players can afford to play. You have some examples of good players making it to NASCAR, but let's face it, without a couple of multi-billionaire investors, a driver like Kyle Larson would still be running dirt cars. NASCAR at its peak is a rich club of competition, where money matters more than talent. The drivers have talent, but so did Tim Tebow. He just didn't have NFL-level talent. And in that system, the talent is rewarded. In NASCAR or racing, Tim Tebow-type talents can look better than they are because Tom Brady can't afford to compete against them. I mean, come on. Guys have to be in a NASCAR truck nowadays at 18 and Cup I-20. If racing go-karts since 5, then at 8 or 9, they get a micro at Millbridge, where it's $60K a year to properly operate. Then moving to a dirt car, a modified, like yourself, you document the extreme expense it takes to just do a UMP car, and that also requires trucks and trailers before maybe renting cars at 14 or 15. Maybe a midget at Keith Coon's Motorsports that's only $300,000 a year or something, right? And then maybe a short track asphalt program of some sorts with a manufacturer, couple 100K the next year. 16 or 17, you can go to K&N races, the Cars Tour maybe, and then maybe a few races in ARCA, or a season for $1.25 million from Venturini or something, right? Which Venturini is a very prominent owner in the ARCA series, because you got to be in one of those 4 cars that can run up front, because on asphalt, you won't outrun the better prepared cars or lesser talented Tim Tebow players on asphalt, no matter how talented you are. Best example is Kyle Larson. In the 42 car, he went 6 years with only 6 wins, then got in a Hendrick car and demolished the field and won the championship. All of you guys can say, that's because he has a fire to prove people wrong. BS. The driver didn't change, the quality of the vehicle changed. You know this, Kenny. When he signed with Earnhardt Ganassi, you were critical of that because you know how important car quality is on asphalt. And we have the article right here, ladies and gentlemen, where Kenny Wallace and Felix Sabates actually got into it in 2013 because Kenny Wallace was calling out Felix Sabates, obviously longtime car owner of the 42, started the 42 with the Kyle, I think it was Kyle Petty and him got together with the mellow yellow car. Cole here, once again. And Kenny Wallace was on the network saying it's hardly a top 15 car. Let's be honest. I'm not even being mean here. There's a theory that this is a top-notch cup team. It's not. Kyle Larson is good, but in my opinion, there's no driver in the car that can take a junk car and do good with it. Obviously, Sabates got a little upset at him. This is all back 2013 for a no-good driving piece of junk like Kenny Wallace to say something like that. Yeah, it ticked me off. And I'm not through with him yet. I got a problem with him because I just think he's a spoiled brat that says whatever he wants to say. He doesn't care about hurting people. He is not a driver. He couldn't drive a Volkswagen in a bicycle race and be competitive. That's what Felix Sabates said about Kenny. I didn't say this. Kenny, for the record. This is what was said. But you were making a valid point. How even a driver on Kyle Larson's level couldn't take a junk vehicle and perform well. And I'm using this article to validate what I'm talking about when these people have to spend $1.25 million at 16 or 17 years old to get into a Venturini ARCA ride, or you're going to look slow. Somehow this is how you get the best of the best into NASCAR. This is it, right? This is tryouts. Let me continue here. From age 5 to 18, a family, not a grown man or woman, needs around a $5 million investment to try out in today's racing market to be a NASCAR driver. At that point, the family still needs to drop $3.5 million a year to get into trucks, a good one, because once again, back to the reference. And at 19 years of age, $6 to $10 million to get into an Xfinity ride. Then maybe, I didn't even put this in there, then maybe some cup owner might like you, and then maybe you might get some big giant sponsor to come along that doesn't want to sponsor big names like Kyle Busch and all these people. Once again, more nepotism and monarchy needed in that scenario. You got to spend the big bucks for the best equipment, or you once again have a situation where Tim Tebow in the rich car will look like he can throw the ball better than Tom Brady in the slow car. Like you know, and what you were talking about there with the Earnhardt Ganassi situation. So for anyone who can see, I guess I should put that for anyone who could read. These pros in NASCAR are a very elitist, privileged, or straight out lucky segment of the population. I don't know what else to tell you. Add up the numbers. At a minimum, a family would need to spend $15 million to attempt a NASCAR career for their kids. Most people don't make that much in their life. To add, the system seems to only want new drivers who are 23 and younger. If you're a 25-year-old badass in racing who actually punched a time clock for the racing operation of your life, kind of like you did, Kenny, in today's society, you're too old. Luckily, we have dirt racing where you don't have to be some young little boy begging for a billionaire to invest into you at 14 years of age because he finds you a talent behind the wheel. This, along with many other factors, is why I do and always will call NASCAR a bunch of Tim Tebows and Johnny Manziels playing on an elitist field that the Bradys and Mannings can't afford to even play on. Those type talents are out here on the dirt tracks, possibly some short asphalt tracks too, out here where the regular people are. The ones who weren't born with such a silver spoon either in their mouth or up their ass. You know, the people out here who don't have $15 million to spend on their kid's hobby. NASCAR isn't what it was when you came up, Kenny. It's more like IndyCar or kart racing when you were younger. You need a big sponsor or a last name like Andretti or Unser to go there. The game has just changed. Dirt is the closest thing the racing world has to an open field of badass drivers week in and week out. I will use the example of basketball to help. If the NBA didn't exist, where do you think the ballers of basketball would be? The elitist league in the country club, NASCAR, or the blacktop on the rough side of town, dirt and short track racing? I don't think you really have to think hard about that. And just because they come to the hood and pick up a few ballers every 10 years like Larson, Bell, and these others, don't mean that these other ballers out here ain't just as good. They just weren't selected by your old group of men. I don't know why. I really don't care, though. I am glad that 900 horsepower late models and sprint cars have the best drivers in America, and I think I have built a decent group of people who have learned what I stated above and are spreading the message. It is very important that the society around us knows the facts about this racing world, so that these Bradys and Mannings out here on the dirt get their respect and quit being called minor league simply because they had minor funding. The American dream is based on rewarding those who work the hardest no matter what class of society you come from. In the NFL, MLB, and NBA, and all of those other professional leagues, that happens. In racing, that does not. So I hope some of these people on here that watched what he had to say, and hopefully he watches as well, there's a lot of reasons as to why you cannot, at all period, no way possible, compare anything that NASCAR does or this racing world has in place to any actual professional league of sport in America deemed best of the best. They have ways to try out in these other sports. All you gotta do is go pick up a ball. Once you start adding money to the table, especially with how racing is today, where you got to be 20, 23 years old to be in it, all that merit that you're trying to claim in this best of the best is out the damn window, bud. It's not real. It's fake. It's fraudulent. I think for NASCAR or anyone to say that they're the best drivers in America, it's false. Even in the dirt world, there's probably better drivers in dirt than Jonathan Davenport or David Gravel. They just ain't got the money to even compete in a 410 or super late model world. But that is also why we can 100% for sure say that NASCAR is not the best of the best. I don't want to hear your Kyle Larson example. Justin Grant used to whoop his ass when he was a kid. Why didn't he get selected? Oh, back to the old man scenario. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I thought it was a good little write-up here on the Kenny Wallace video. Go watch his stuff. Hopefully y'all learned a few things here. I got to make a few edits here. I just typed this and was like, I need to record this and read this. So I got to make some adjustments. I made them on the fly as I was reading them. But what do y'all think? This is a very interesting situation that I think does need to be addressed. Respect is what's going to get you that sponsorship dollar racer out there. Respect is what's going to get people to come to your racing organizations and tracks and raise your purses and fix your facilities and get everything that you are missing. The reason you ain't getting what you got in comparison to those guys, you read all those payouts in the 90s, is back then they had respect. NASCAR took over the whole damn media entity known as television and told everybody what you are and told everybody that they're the best of the best. Back then, that stuff didn't exist. We're in America. We like Batman. We don't like Robin. If you are respected and viewed as minor league, you are Robin. People don't show up for that crap. They show up for the major leagues, and we got one organization out there apparently running around saying that they are the majors. And they have no merit to that statement. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, the glory of social media, the glory of YouTube, we could spread messages to millions and millions of people with some facts and some somewhat strong opinion. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like the video, comment below, call me a dumbass. Kenny Wallace may hate me now forever. It's fine. But I'm subscribed to Kenny Wallace. You should be too. And hey, If you ain't already done it, subscribe to me as well. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you next time.
This is how we ride, this is how we do. Ride mud, slide.